Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to a truly tiny German. Tiny German in the tiniest armored vehicle in War Thunder, the L333 tankette with its rapid fire. What is this? Semi-automatic, maybe? 20 millimeter anti-tank, air quotes, cannon. It doesn't quite have the punch through you would need to win World War II with, but it'll do just fine in this replay. And as has been my wont lately, we cut straight to the action. Again, all part of my goal to fit at least 2 replays into these replay videos and give you guys an action-packed experience. One of the very common tensions I find in my videos, just personally as a content creator, is that I know that I could spend a week or so making a really polished video, and it's something that I would really be proud of. I am genuinely a fan of my own work, and I feel like I have a healthy appreciation for just how fun and how nice it is to make quality content. And yet that's not what I do, is it? And it's because of things like this. Tiny German, not to pick on anyone, but this is an example, you see. I'm not sure why we're not getting hit indications. Oh, there's one. Ladies and gentlemen, the War Thunder replay system. But a second kill already. Tiny German has been sending me replay after replay, and the man has not been wasting my time at all. He has sent me some incredible matches. Clearly, he's been playing a lot of War Thunder, having a good time, and playing vehicles that I'd love to talk about. So you'll be seeing more replays from him. And at the same time, I really love what I'm doing right now, which is giving a voice to you all when it comes to turning your replays into videos. I really like the way this is working out right now. I love doing replay commentary, and you're like, Toshio, you never talk about what's happening. Okay, but it's more than nothing. There was this story I heard at church once about a Bible guy. He was one of the many and multiple Bible guys. What are you doing, Toshio? Let's just say this is how bad my memory is, right? So Bible guy was telling people about Jesus, which is something that I love to do as well, as you may have noticed. And some other supposed Bible guy was like, hey, Bible guy, I've got a problem with the way you do Bible guy stuff and the way you talk to people about Jesus. And Bible guy number 1, who is famous Bible guy and one of the good Bible guys of much renown, asked supposed Bible guy, what are you doing? And supposed Bible guy says, well, you know, I don't actually tell people about the Jesus. I just Bible guy. And Bible guy of fame, good strong Bible guy that people talk about because he's the Bible guy that does things, said, I prefer my way of doing it over your way of not doing it. And that is exactly the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to people judging the way I do my videos. If you're making videos, then it's like, okay, let's talk. And honestly, I'm not trying to like rant or anything here, but this has actually been a force for positivity in my life, because we're all, I should say most of us, right? There is that 1% of people that just does not give a fuck about what people think. You know what, man? You do you. Every now and then, the world needs psycho killers, and you will be ready when that need arises. But for the rest of us, who don't have the gift of lizard brain, and again, there is a role in society for people that just don't care about the feelings of others. But for the rest of us, we're sensitive to the criticism of other people. But my recommendation is listen to everything, but don't take anything to heart until you find out exactly who it's coming from. Is this person someone who makes their own videos and knows the struggle and wants to benefit you? Or is this person, as they say, everyone's a critic, as 6 kills already, Tiny German? Well, I'm trying to do my little soapbox here. I better wrap this up so I can talk about the action. But look at this little L3. It's so freaking adorable. And it's a lovely piece of work. And you know what you could have said to those Italian designers? Mario, what are you doing with the wrench? And try and take away their plans and force them to build a Sherman. But you know what? I like the Italian way of designing and building tanks better than my own way of having never built a tank. Everybody's a critic, but where is that criticism coming from? When people comment on the things that you're producing, who is it that's talking? And if you don't know the experience of making a video or doing some kind of art, whatever it is, whatever you make, if you're not a doer, if you're not a maker, your opinion still counts. But if you are a doer, don't be moved too much by the expressions of people that haven't experienced what it's like to go through that process of making something. Take the good, leave the bad. Understand that you must forgive them and also ignore them sometimes, for they know not what they do. That's just been my experience, and it's something that it really helps to remind myself of. And that applies to all kinds of things in life. So, I will continue. Not that this has been like a current topic, but it just kind of came up. I'll keep making trashy videos in massive quantities just because that's what I enjoy doing right now. And I have the suspicion that Tiny German could be featured on a number of channels because of the skills that he displays here. And just look at this little meme boy memeing on people. I love it. It's beautiful. But it's also my pleasure to feature him on my channel that is so close to my heart. Man, I'm never going to talk about what he's actually doing, am I? Also, another thing, the replay system tends to, for lack of a more delicate term, shit its pants when you are firing an autocannon or a rapid fire cannon. The 50mm in the 262 A1U4 has the same issue in replays where the hit indicator will show that you are making hits, the gun sounds will not play, and the animation for the gun firing will not play, and yet you'll see the effect downrange. Interesting. It is what it is, and it is, ladies and gentlemen, the War Thunder replay system, with 9 kills and not done yet. In the final hours of the match, this one intrepid pasta boy finally getting some direct attention from Papatoscio. Cheers to Tiny German 26 in the L3 tankette. Not only is this tiny thing adorable with a fantastic low profile, but if you can manage to get side shots or ambushing shots on the enemy, as Tiny German has accomplished here time and again, you can do quite well. And T-26, or whatever that is, again, my Russian tank designations are not fantastic, but we all know what this is. Y'all ready for some get wrecked? That's right. literally nothing he could have done there. The one thing he could have done is gone for the cannon barrel, but there's a second cannon that could take him down. Anyway, pour one out for Italy itself, and pour one out for the tankette. The last of the dregs of your marinara dumped down for Tiny German himself, with a double ace and victory eluding his grasp. We'll call that an opportunity to excel. All of the biggest aces on the losing side, because the winning team has more targets. In any event, the A6 M5 Co, the short wing zero, if you will, a rendition on a beautiful theme, an aircraft that is just such a strange mix of strengths and weaknesses, but is one of the most beautiful dancers in the sky. The Zero itself designed to be maximum range capability, and with the side effect of being a beautifully handling, gorgeous maneuvering aircraft. You could call it the princess of the dogfight, in an era where the dogfight itself was going out of style, and yet this is still the world of gun kills, and speed is life. Only works if you have the speed. Captain Jack Sparrow with his first kill, a second fire, soon to be another. Yes, enemy taken down. The A what? the Mustang attacker? What's it called? I can't believe I gotta play more War Thunder. I've been taking a bit of a break from playing War Thunder lately, just because I have been feeding the hype train in my mind about Swedish ground forces, and the patch is gonna drop any day, and I'm just like, I'm preserving. I'm not gonna say it. I'm preserving the emotional impact of playing War Thunder. I want it to feel extra fresh when update 1.97 drops. I have not been, and again, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but because the patch is going to be out by the time this video comes out, hopefully. But I haven't been so excited for a major update in a very, very long time in War Thunder. I feel like I got kind of jaded as Captain Jack makes the distance for a third kill and continues to turn and burn the enemy. This is a fun aircraft to play. I actually prefer to play, as with most aircraft, I prefer to play the A6 M5 Co in Tank RB, where I can make even more use of this turn fighter's fantastic capabilities, because the enemy doesn't climb for 6 or 7 minutes before engaging me. So you can make even more use out of this aircraft's nimble nature when you're not facing dedicated boom and zoom tactics. But that's the easy way to play. This is the real meta of War Thunder fighters in Air RB. Taking down a B-25, or attempting to, a first pass with good hits. And it looks like Captain Jack might be using the tracer belts for the 20 mils, which is what I would recommend. I'm fairly certain that in this case it means you're using APT or APIT rounds, the armor-piercing Japanese 20 mil rounds being, in my opinion, much more reliable than the somewhat anemic high explosive, which just, as with most cannon rounds, cannot compare with the power of Japanese 20 mils and falls behind in terms of the meta being unable to deal consistent damage to all targets. The B-25, one of the few medium bombers in the game, you could call them an attacker, as the same essential aircraft is also designated in that role when you throw a few more guns in the thing, is one of the few bombers in the game that still has somewhat of a fighting chance in terms of survivability. Although the B-25 itself seems to, in keeping with the general meta, fall far behind real-world survivability numbers, or what would be expected for an aircraft of that size and durability by design. As Captain Jack goes in for a landing, it's still a good aircraft, is what I'm saying. The B-25. It's delightful. It is not the meta, but it fits in as a medium bomber, frontline bomber, attacker, as well as can be expected. Another line that has very good attacker / medium or frontline bombers, even light bombers, is the Swedish air tech tree, which should pair up very well for close air support alongside what looks to be one of the most diverse, effective, odd, and unique ground vehicle trees in the game. Sweden, really. I mean, again, update 1.97 hype as Captain Jack. Why am I hyping this thing when it's going to be out already? I'm just so excited. Let a boy be happy, all right? I'm counting numbers in my head. I'm thinking expenditures. I'm getting ready to mow a lawn. I think I'm also getting sick, which is just ridiculous. As Captain Jack stalks yet another B-25 and is soon to encounter at least one, maybe two enemy fighters. Heads up, just to get you hyped for the action to come. I'm just very excited. Brooklyn, my beautiful tank baby, tank toddler now. She is just about 3 years old. Her birthday, April 1st. She is an April Fool's baby. The last thing I did before going to the hospital with my wife for her to have the baby was to play some of the modern vehicles April Fool's event in War Thunder. Like, literally the last thing I did before we went for the hospital. So that is always going to be something that's close to my heart. It just feels good, really, as I stay off topic. And Captain Jack does get not boomed, but then zoomed by, what was that, a P-38? Definitely a threat. In any event, War Thunder does hold a special place in my heart because of how long I've played the game, because of just the way this game can feel sometimes. In my mind, it is sometimes the perfect mix of feeling like you're driving a tank, feeling like you're flying a plane, and being able to have a somewhat simple control scheme, something you can pick up in a reasonable amount of time without too much of a time dedication. And that's pretty neat. Setting a fire to the B-25, and along with that, you might have noticed that my girls, my wife, my two girls, they're super precious in my mind. And it's just, I love having memories of War Thunder and my girls at the same time. I told my wife yesterday, our daughter is a born YouTuber. She watches YouTube Kids, and I pay a lot of attention to what she's watching just because there can be some really weird stuff on the internet. I'm fully aware of that, and I've blocked some channels, and honestly, YouTube Kids isn't too bad right now, from my experience. They have a bad reputation from some of the things that definitely were on there, and kids could view just weird, messed up stuff. And I've blocked a few channels just because they're like, not because they're actually bad, but because there's really nothing good about them. They're like these Tom and Jerry style cartoons that were clearly made in like obscure Eastern Bloc countries that use like 4 sound effects in total for their entire series of cartoons. It's a giggle, it's some kind of impact, and then like a screech. And that's like the only sounds they ever use for everything. And it's like, do I want my daughter to catch autism from the internet? And the answer is no. Joke about autism, but actually that's the kind of thing that's made for people that tend to like really focus in and obsess about like one thing, but it's done a lot better by other cartoons. So the stuff that I blocked is just trash. What's not trash is Captain Jack's performance here. Almost effortless 6 kills with nary an enemy getting a shot on him. Beautiful moves in the A6 M5 Co. One of the best investments you can make in War Thunder, a rank 4 premium that regularly goes on sale in the Pacific Pack. I think that's on Steam, and goes for a very reasonable price. Again, one of the most enjoyable Japanese aircraft I've ever played, perfectly in keeping with the theme of the Zero itself, and with great rewards. It teaches you how to use a Zero, it teaches you how to use a turn fighter, and the armament is perfectly in keeping with what you typically see on Japanese aircraft, and the rewards are great. It's one of my most highly recommended premiums, and it comes in a pack that has other content along with it. Some individual missions and the like. Again, I highly recommend. And if my words don't sell you on the A6M5 Co, and again, if you're not looking to buy something in War Thunder, just, ignore it. Just know that I appreciate this content in the game. This is the good stuff. Enemy P-38 was playing well, using his energy. Now he's diving, losing a lot of that energy. Somewhat understandable, as he's within what would be kill range for, say, American 50 cals, but somewhat less reliable for Japanese 20 mils, which have a lower fire rate, a lower muzzle velocity, and a lower ammo count, meaning that you tend to want to close to closer ranges before going for that kill. And yet the P-38 has spent a lot of their altitude. Now they took a hit to an engine, which is going to cause that engine to die over time, and it doesn't take too long for the P-38's inline engine to crap out once the oil is gone. I think I had something I was saying along the lines of buying this aircraft, and if you don't want to do that, then just don't do that. But I've had a blast in the A6M5 Co, and it's one of those premiums that I actually play after I buy it. In any event, well, you can tell. Look at the beautiful custom camouflage I've forced you all to look at. Apologies, too, if that's not your style. If you're not into making your airplanes look like a toy or an anime, I apologize. But, hey, I like my way of doing it more than your way of not doing it. In any event, 7 kills in the Stubwing Zero, as it could be called if people use terms as silly as the ones I do. And that wraps it up for today's video. I've shared a lot of the things I wanted to talk about today. This is starting to feel like a social network for me, this whole YouTube deal. And along with that, I have a Discord link in the description of this video if you'd like to send me a replay, or if you'd like to connect with me. That is the best place to do so. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.